This is the Horse Radio Network.
Hey, you're listening to Adulting with Horses, the best place to be if you can't be at the barn. We are your co-hosts and equine authors, Heather Wallace and Natalie Keller-Reinert. As crazy horse girls, we don't take ourselves too seriously in the saddle or out. We celebrate the things that make us different. Join us as we talk about horses and pop culture and get a little weird in a fun way. Thank you for being a little weird with us.
Who see colors?
Yeah, so like there's people that see colors, like the synesthesia. They see, names look like colors to them.
I actually had that when I was a kid.
Stop,
but
really?
I grew out of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
Tell random people they had colors, and they were like, oh. And so that was kind of a party trick that my parents had, was they would be like, hey, Natalie will tell you your color, and I would tell them.
That's pretty cool. I've always thought that was really cool. I actually heard about synesthesia in a book I read once. It was like a fiction novel and a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like urban fantasy, I guess, post-apocalyptic. And one of the main characters had that. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard of. But it's pretty rare.
It seems like there's everything. Like there's a neurological weirdness for every sort of magical power, maybe.
Maybe they're just neurodivergent, not necessarily superhuman.
Yeah, because what I read about the snowy vision thing that I have is that it's associated with headaches, which I have headaches almost every day and always have since I was a child, and tinnitus, which I very much have. I can hear it in both ears right now with AirPods in, which sometimes make it go away. So it's all connected. I've just got like a messed up brain, man.
Well, the brain is doing good things because you're doing pretty well in life, Natalie. So
I'm doing okay.
You're doing
I'm
okay.
not mad.
So I guess we've all got a weird thing. I'm in slush land. So we finally got snow for the first time in 2 years. It is maybe 2 to 3 inches of snow, and then it started raining. It made it slushy. And then what's really super awesome and I'm very excited about is the fact that when the sun goes down, it will be black ice.
Oh my gosh. Yay.
Awesome. Yay.
So ordering dinner early tonight.
Yeah, my daughter has a doctor's appointment. That's going to be great. Super excited about it. Mm-hmm. I canceled all my other clients. I shifted them to another day because what's better than driving in the snow, sitting at home and writing while it's snowing?
Yes, that is delightful. I remember working on my first book sitting, like, I sat between two windows and I could see Manhattan from my window and I could see the street below, and I remember the snow falling down and just like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how books are written.
That is. And it's funny because my kids would be like, that's so aesthetic. Like that's
it was the most aesthetic, like, ever.
Well, and the funny thing is, so like with the Green Mountain Romance, the Imogen Gabe stories, they're seasonal. So like the first one, Back to Our Horse, was in the fall, and I finished writing that and released it in the fall. And then the second one takes place during winter. So I'm like, what amazing time, because it's like, real time inspiration.
That actually helps me out a lot. Like even if a book takes place over like several seasons, I tend to write whatever's going on outside. So the book I just wrote is set very much in winter, and
your least favorite season.
Yeah. Well, the one I'm working on now is summer because, it just jumped chronologically. So.
Well, it's funny. So I decided Imogen and Gabe were not going to have a summer. Like it was going to be 3 books and it was going to be every season but summer. But then some of my supporting characters, their 2 books will be in summer only. Mm-hmm. They'll be like a 1 book per character. So I'm going to go ahead and allow summer to happen in Vermont.
Are you sure? Aren't there supposed to be like a lot of flies? We've talked about
It's
this.
actually not that bad.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
The flies again. It's fine.
There's always something, Natalie.
Yeah.
But
we had a thunderstorm. We've had a few thunderstorms today, starting at about 4 a.m., which is always exciting for January, especially because we have a hard freeze tonight. So it's been raining. We've got almost an inch of rain today.
Yeah, you guys have been getting hit. We're getting every single storm you have. We're just getting it like 30 degrees colder.
That's
So
fine with me. It's fine.
it works, but that's okay because in just a couple of weeks, in fact, we're going to be on a cruise
I know.
in warm weather.
Oh my God, it's so warm too. Like, I don't know if I've ever gone on a winter cruise. And I looked at the temperatures in like Haiti, and because the cruise goes to Haiti, like all cruises. And it's going to be in the 90s in parts of
Ugh.
Haiti. Like, really? So at least we'll be by the sea, and there'll be a breeze. But it's I've been to the Bahamas in the winter, and that's just Florida. So
Right.
I'm accustomed to, it's kind of chilly. The water's cold. No, we're going to the actual Caribbean Sea where it is hot, apparently.
Yeah, I might actually get off the boat then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I think we have to at one.
Well,
We have
we're
plans.
we're gonna go to Jamaica and we're gonna horse ride together
I'm so
for the first
excited about
time.
that. When you suggested it, I was like, do I? And then I
Kinda
thought
do.
about it. I was like, of course I do.
Well,
It's
we've
just being
never ridden
curmudgeonly.
together,
We haven't.
so that would be
Haven't.
interesting. I'll try to
I can't
catch
go to
it on.
Iceland this year, so
I know. I can't believe I still have spots available for that. So
I'm
it's.
waiting for the perfect people.
I know. I'm just waiting for the right vibes. So if you're the right vibe, people,
Mm-hmm.
Iceland is waiting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting. I can't wait. And riding on the beach and in the ocean is pretty cool.
I don't know how you dress for that.
So, well, they want closed-toed shoes, but you're gonna go
Right.
in the water. So I ended up getting when I was in, I guess, Antigua last year, was the first time I ever rode on the beach. And what they do is they throw a towel over the saddle. So like if you're in shorts, you can have your legs bare, but they're not rubbing. And then I made the mistake of wearing flip-flops and almost dying because my husband kept moving his horse into me because he couldn't control him.
Oh.
And then one time my foot got stuck in the stirrup and I was like, this is how we go. Like, this is
Oh
it.
no.
Yeah. So thankfully, I can ride despite, many people's ideas of that. So it was fine. So what I did actually for this one is as I'm putting all my cruise stuff together, I bought like those waterproof shoes, like the ones with the tread, like the barefoot sneakers with like the
Yeah.
treads that you can kind of go, but they drain really quickly. So you can wear them in the sand and stuff.
I actually have a pair of those.
Yeah, pack
believe it or
those.
not. So that's what I'll do. I'll bring
Yeah.
those and flip flops, and
That's
that'll
pretty
be
much
my
it.
shoe supply.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, for the dressy night, flip flops it is, right? I'll bring out my nice pair of flip flops.
Yeah, it's like every Floridian has their nice flip flops.
Right.
So
Exactly. And they take up very little room. It's wonderful. I don't need a heel for anything. A heel on a boat sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah. Well, this has been Cruise Talk with Natalie and Heather.
I know.
Tune in for more tips.
I know. Well, I have a horse riding thing that, well, we haven't talked in a while.
No.
Because the holidays.
You were hibernating.
I do hibernate.
Mhm.
I do. I'm so burnt out after the holiday season.
I basically skipped the holiday season, except for going to my family, which was cool. And I wrote all the rest of whatever that book is, Outside Rain. And so that was my version of hibernation, was just like hunched over writing 5,000 to 10,000 words a day, like die, book, die. And it's done.
Well, that's amazing.
Heather's hibernating. I'm finishing this book, and we will meet as with 36 hours before the podcast has to go up. We will definitely. My husband said, "What are you guys recording next?" And I was like, "She'll text me tomorrow."
And I did.
Yeah.
It's because I look at the calendar. I'm like, oh shit, that's coming.
And I'm starting to catch on to when it actually posts. So it's only been like over a year. And I'm going, I think we have to put an episode up soon.
Yeah. Well, when hibernation season comes, I hyper focus on certain things. And it's not that like the podcast isn't a focus of mine. It's just like I focus so much on like my burnout. And I'm like, I could record a podcast because I love talking to you, but then I have to edit it. Or I could sit on the couch and binge watch Harry Potter. Or like the new Netflix series, like My Life with the Walter Boys, or or Sanditon, or something like that. Like, so sometimes you win and sometimes you lose.
With me, you always, well, you do both.
I win
and
with
lose.
you. I win. It's like because I love talking to you. It just sometimes it's like too much to hit record.
Oh, no, totally. Yeah, and don't edit it. Just put it out however.
I
People
never
will
do.
be fine. Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't think so.
it's the most basic editing because like we record as live. So unless I'm putting in a commercial or like the bumpers, kind of stuff, it's just like, well, let's just see what happens. I listen to it to make sure it's, not terrible, but that's about it.
I think we do fine. People aren't complaining.
So
too
far,
much.
yeah, no one's complained.
Yeah.
So I think we're okay. But this is so in my hibernation season, one thing that drives people crazy is that I actually ride my horse a lot during the winter.
Do your horses get like super annoyed? Like she's back.
So Ferris is feral in winter. Like, so I love the fact that he's a little slow and pokey, but it can be really annoying too. Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't want to work hard either. So I like a horse that's forward, but not ferocious. And in the winter, he doesn't need a spur. He doesn't need a crop. He's just like, we're so happily forward that it's really fun to ride. And we get so much like wonderful exercise together. So yeah, I've been riding in just my heated vest. I've been taking off my jacket. Like we've been going places, and
that's cool.
I'm a little early for the adulting ones, but I'm just gonna mention it. I've cracked the code. Does it say cracked the code? I meant to say cracked the code. I finally figured out how to keep a really nice, deep, stable, balanced seat and a still leg.
What?
It took 46 years.
Yeah, okay, I have a couple years.
But I like the last couple times I rode, I was like, it clicked and like everything is moving where it should be in the place it should be. And it's because I don't have to use leg with every post.
Yeah, taking the leg off, that's very much it. Because if you bring your lower leg in, then you pogo yourself out of the saddle.
Right.
And so if you ride with your leg on every stride, then you never get that deep seat. That is a struggle that I am working on, because when Ben is cold, Ben is forward as hell.
Oh.
Like a rocket ship.
Oh no.
And that's me going, oh, I'm definitely using too much leg just by existing. So get your leg off. Sit deeper. It's a whole thing. If we're going to jump the gun on adulting wins, is I had a really great dressage lesson a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Like really good. Like we cantered and we did like spiraling circles with the leg yield at the trot and the canter.
Oh wow.
It was awesome and illuminating. And the canter work is actually going really well. But that is something that I'm working on me at the trot and the canter. Sit down, move your hips, raise your hands, put them forward, sit down, move your hips. It's just over. It's over. It's fun. I love being an adult and not an instinctive 14-year-old. It's great.
I'm definitely more body aware than I was when I was a teenager. Just not as flexible. But
yeah,
it's nice when things like finally click. Like I have a different like true adulting win, which is pretty exciting, and we'll save that for later. But I don't know, like it's just such a nice feeling when it clicks and you're like, oh my God, I could do this always now. Like now I've got it.
Are you going to forget it? That's the question. Well, and have it click again.
My guess is in the summer when he's really pokey, it's gonna be a lot harder to keep that seat because I'll be, having to move so much. But I will say, like, again, this is the first summer that we were able to ride him somewhat consistently through in the last 5 years. So we're not working from a negative position like we have been years after years. And so he's so much more fluid and muscled up that he can, one of the girls that helps me ride him when I can't get there, she was showing me videos the other day and she's like, look, we're cantering into the jump and he's carrying himself in a frame. And I said, yeah, that's literally all I've been working on is can he posture and hold himself correctly? So I was like, I don't want to like take that away from her because she added in so much really wonderful things. But I was like, that was me. Like, that was me. I did that.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Exactly. I got to take some credit.
Yeah. The fitness thing, the length of time it takes for people like us to put fitness into our horses. The fact, I'm doing work now that I couldn't even imagine doing last year when I started, and that was in like March. It took this
Yeah.
long. It took almost a year to, say, oh, I have a canter and this canter is adjustable and I can put my hands forward and he doesn't fall on his face. Like, it's taken that long. So,
Yeah. But how amazing does it feel when you
oh,
accomplish it?
it feels fantastic.
Yeah.
It's worth it. You know what I love
It is worth
about
it.
It's measurable with Ride IQ. So unpaid sponsorship again for Ride IQ. I can do a lesson now that I might have done half of last spring and not been able to do any of the canter work. And now I can do all of the canter work and feel things like this is an extension, this is a collection, in all three gaits that I simply didn't have any access to a year ago. So it's really cool to do that the exact same ride. I don't think that was really something any of us had options to do before, unless our trainers were just teaching the same the same movements.
Boring.
Okay,
Right.
it's been 6 minutes, so we're going to change reins. No, now I'm
Yeah.
just listening to the same lesson and doing the exact same movements and going, I can see exactly how this has changed. It's a really cool measurement tool.
And the nice thing that I've noticed too is that, well, I think we can always assume like whenever my pony takes a misstep or does something, it's always me. Like my balance is off, or I moved my hands, or something was going on. And so like I feel like Ride IQ and doing these lessons helps you as the rider learn good habits and
Mm-hmm.
not just like the physical fitness for your horse as well.
Yeah. And there's even some that, like, if you don't, there's one I like that's it's like John Holling just giving direction, but it's not like, okay, trot your horse, okay, do this, that. He's just saying good reminders for the whole ride. He's like, soften, put your hand forward, put your leg on, take your leg off. And so if I'm in I've been working really hard on a lot of stuff for the past couple of weeks, a lot of weird business stuff going on. And I haven't wanted to focus on really hard riding more than once or twice a week. So I've been doing this I could just trot around. I could still be thinking about all the crazy stuff going on in my brain. So my brain is like out of control right now. Um,
It's
and
always
so,
out of control.
and so but I'm trotting and I lose focus with what I'm doing. And John says, put your hand forward. I go, okay. And I put my hands forward. He says, soften. I go, okay. And I soften. And one of the things that helps me do is remember to keep shifting. Because stillness and straight lines are the enemy, right? I have a story.
Okay, I'm ready to
I
hear
was
it.
jump judging on this past Saturday.
That looked fun, by the way.
It was super fun. And so for one division, I was in my car, thank God, because it was like 50 degrees and windy out of the north. It was so cold. So I'm sitting in my car, and there's a jump that's like it's a palisade, so it's like upright logs with one log on top, and it's a galloping fence, but you want to hit it you want to hit it at the right stride, a comfortable stride, because it goes downhill a little bit on the other side. So you want your horse to land balanced to keep on running, so it doesn't tumble over. And what I learned was the more nervous the horse, and I learned this in the water as well, the better a short sort of a presentation was, right? Like the horses gasping and looking around, you gave them 4 strides, 3 strides, lock on the fence, jump the fence. They didn't have time to think about it. They didn't have time to go, I don't know about that. And then every now and then you'd get somebody a little novice for the level, wide-eyed, horrified, exhausted, because I'm at the end of the course. And they do a big, wide approach. They want to give their horse lots of time to see that fence. And they just want to, just let's get comfortable with it. And the horse goes up and up and up and up and up. And the jump is appalling. One rider went so wide, gave her horse so much room, she couldn't control him anymore. He took off probably 2 strides too soon. I mean, it was like a cross between a daredevil jumping a motorcycle over the Grand Canyon, and one of those jumping horses off of the steel pier. Like, it was, my hands went over. I was like, oh no, I'm witnessing a death.
What
No.
happened? What happened?
The horse did hit the fence with both front legs, but was an extremely athletic creature. Stumbled on landing, picked himself up. She somehow stayed in the saddle, just like she went sideways and then wrenched herself back into the saddle, and off they went. It was terrifying. I was like, do not give your horse a runway. Do not give your horse a runway.
Whoa.
They need turns, and they need bends, and they need other things to think about besides taking off.
Well, one of
once
the
they
things,
take off, you're done.
So I'm not by any means a cross country jumper. Okay, like I think that everyone should know that by now. But Ferris is a hunter type pony, and he really loves what he does, and so his the girl that rides him has been jumping him a little bit and bringing in, you know, the ground poles to get him to like just rhythm and stuff, because if he sees a jump, he will go for it. Like he will full gallop into it. Like he's so excited. So when I'm doing that, I will either do the ground poles, or a lot of times I will like leg yield him onto the line. So we'll be like trotting the quarter line, and I'll leg yield him over to the second jump of a line, take him over the second jump and canter him out, right?
Yeah.
So he cannot look at it, lock on, and just drop his shoulders and go. And so so that's something we're working on, because if he can see it, like on a bending line, if he sees it, he will straight up, he'll be jigging, dancing, you know, totally crooked going into it. So like I have to almost catch him by surprise, where it's like, whoop, we're going over this now. Like,
yeah.
So
yeah, I guess the next step from that, like, is maybe you know, do like a quick shoulder in the approach, you know, if you are doing a straight line.
Yeah.
That was I was reading about like sort of shifting forward energy into a shoulder in before it can do the runway effect and just take you down the long side at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, because that's how he gets when that happens, and he'll go over it. He's honest to a fault. Like he'll go over anything. I'm not worried about that, but on landing, if he doesn't land balanced, or if I'm too far on the forehand, like he gets plenty of rain, I don't need to get in his way. He will feel so excited, he'll crow hop out of it, right? And that's never a position you want to be in with the pony. So it's like the slower you go in, the more chance you have of getting the lead and coming out and getting your next jump. So my goal with him was always to like jump a course this last fall. We were a little behind on that, or maybe it was the spring. I don't know. I can't remember. It was a course, but we've graduated to jumping over 2 jumps in a row. So
That's great.
Pretty excited.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch jumping and you just go, what are we doing? What is happening?
I love watching. My favorite events to go to are like the show jumpers and the cross country day, because I love to watch them, because it's like all these things that would literally send me to my death.
Yeah.
They make it look so easy.
I get so hung up in why are we doing this? I don't know, because it's fun. Is that a good reason? I don't know.
I love to jump. I think it is fun, but it's also really scary.
It just cracks me up sometimes. I'm like, that course of jumps cost $20,000, and we can jump our horses over these sticks. It's just hilarious. Like, what are we doing?
We're hedonists at the end of it. We just care about our own self, you know, happiness and.
Yeah, it's a brand of hedonism based in an obsession that is absolutely on a spectrum.
And, you know, in some ways we are those adrenaline junkies too, because, right, like what's not full of adrenaline, but something like that. Like you jump something because it feels good when you do it well.
Oh my God, it's just drugs.
It really is. It really is. And it's the same way, like, when I'm sorry for my dogs, by the way, if you can hear them. They're howling. It's like there's a snowplow outside. Well, that's good. When I was in Iceland, and we were coming down the volcano, I was terrified. Like it was so scary coming down this hill. It was like sleeting, snow, rain. And I thought, okay, I might die because I've never met this horse before and I'm trusting him to take me down safely. And when we got to the bottom, I felt such a rush of adrenaline that I was so happy that like it all went well, that when we were tolting back towards the hotel and the barn, he picks up the flying pace. And I didn't even care because I was so exhilarated that I was alive and it felt so good. And so when I got off this horse, we'd ridden for like 3 hours and I was like, this was the best day. I feel so pumped. I want to ride again. Like it felt amazing. It was great.
I like that when you can use like energy from something great happening and just start throwing it at everything.
Yeah.
Like some days it's a to-do list and some days it's flying across Iceland. You're just throwing your energy out there like, I have it now. Let's use it.
Or answering the 100 and something emails you get and you're like, let me actually go answer those emails that I've been avoiding for a week.
Yeah, I hit some stuff hard last week and I was messaging people and they were like, wow, I hadn't thought of that. I was like, don't worry, I'm on a roll. Take my more emails. It was crazy.
No, it's good. And it's applicable to daily life too, right? Like, as you say, like your to-do list, when you cross that thing off, you're like, yeah, on to the next.
Oh, yeah.
It feels good.
Crossing off. I have so many notebooks right now. One of them is like an agenda. And then I have another one that I'm doing morning pages in. And that feels like checking something off a list first thing. And then I have another one where I just put notes about books or diagrams of website stuff or ideas for things. And I just have surrounded by notebooks. And when I want a weird energy boost, I've been putting a sticker on one of them.
Yes, we need to do that with Susan, by the way. We need to do that.
Yeah. So I just am like, I'm going to put a sticker on this. And it's like a magic spell of just doing something permanence. It's
You're
getting
like,
weird down here.
You remind me of the mad scientist, you know? It's just like always got something. Oh, let me just jot this down really quick, you know?
Yeah, I a little bit am. Yeah. I made a lot of notes while I was jump judging.
Did you? Were like for the books?
Yeah.
Or just in general for life?
For the books, yeah, where I would just have a thought, like I'd watch the horses going and I'd think about something and I kind of put it together as a little piece maybe of dialogue or a description with a comment and things like that. I thought I can use this later.
Yeah, so nothing's safe.
Oh no.
I found when I guess my phone automatically updated and then it just pops open when I picked it up in the morning and said, welcome to your journal. And I've been using my notes app for when I'm in the car, I get all these brainstorms. And so I have been using Siri to add notes in my notes app so I can remember them later. Like whether, again, it's dialogue or a story arc that I want to do or something. And now my phone has gifted me with this journal where I can now, it's more than notes, but it's like for journaling and you can, you know, put little stickers and like track ideas and stuff like that. So
I'm looking for my phone right now because my phone updated this morning too. And
now you want it?
Yeah, I put everything in notes also. And I picked up my phone this morning and it said lightning detected near Newberry. And I was like, oh my God. But I want a journal.
I know. Like,
hell is my phone?
I want to pick it. I confess I haven't used it yet because it just came on. But it says get in the habit. And so I'm allowing it to send notifications. So you can journal a schedule where like every day at 8 a.m. you get a notification like time to journal. But then the thing you can do, I'm going to open it. It just says create your personal journal. And you can just add, and they give you suggestions. Like there's a reflection where it says, who is someone who can always make you laugh out loud?
Wow.
Write about the last time you had a great idea that helped others, or bring to mind a relationship you cherish and write about something it can teach you. But I thought, wouldn't this be great? Because you can add an entry if I then every day had like, you know, journaled a little something to help get me started writing that day or balance that day.
I've been doing that.
You know, something like that.
I started doing morning pages, which, you know, is it's a concept from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, where you just sit down and you just start writing in the morning and you write a few pages before you've done anything else. And some days I use it specifically for well, now I'm going to work on this book idea and I'm just going to start writing. And some days I just sort of blather for a little bit until I hit an end. And it feels really powerful.
Mm.
But handwriting is a part of it in that case.
Yeah.
Handwriting facilitates thinking in a completely different way. So
there's something about that brain-body connection when you handwrite something. When I first started writing the blog, it was all handwritten at first. Yeah. And in fact, I have some old journals of stories, like book ideas, that I'd started handwriting and then, gave up because I lost the journal or something like
your
that.
Hand hurt.
Yeah, ADHD, But I've lately been thinking about like, oh, I need to find that journal. Maybe I can go back. And now that I'm writing more regularly, this might be a fun series to do under like a pen name or, something like that. And so I'm trying to, but I find that in the morning, I'll set my alarm and I'll get up early. Like the other day, my husband came down and he's like, what are you doing up at 6 o'clock in the morning? And I said, well, the girls are getting ready for school in an hour. And I had all these ideas. I figured I'd just get up and get them out. And I just started writing. And I got so much done. It was amazing.
It is. And I think I've been waking up around 6 all of a sudden too. I know. And I got up at 6 this morning and I went out and wrote.
That's very unlike you.
I was done with my word count for the day at 9:30. And that included going out and scurrying around with the horses for like 40 minutes. I think it is rewiring my brain to get up early and write. Even when I didn't I only started at 6:30 once or twice because I couldn't sleep.
Right.
But it's like, oh, you have good ideas now. You should get up and write. Go on, go. And I have been like asking the universe to please help me fix my sleep schedule because I lose a lot of time when I sleep till 9 o'clock. Like that's not ideal by any measure. So I'm hoping maybe this is like fixing my schedule for me.
And you're getting work done, which is great.
Yeah. Like
so like double duty.
Before I realized that I needed to set up my whole podcast setup because it's so dark. So I had to go find my ring light and do a whole thing. I was just lying here reading because I was done.
That's awesome.
Reading in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
That's luxury.
I was writing, which doesn't happen in the middle of the day for me. Because, clients message me or call me or I'm writing reports for clients and things like that. But I finished my reports really quick. So I was like, this is great. I can start writing now. So I wrote like maybe like almost a whole chapter.
Nice.
I know. And I feel, but I'm not like one of those people that can leave the chapter halfway done. I have to finish it. So like today it will not be done. Like I will not be able to focus on anything until it's done. Like I won't go to bed until that chapter's done.
Yeah, I prefer to have it done. It's just tidier when you go back to the document. You're just like, oh no, I have to finish this chapter. Like it takes away from a sense of accomplishment as you begin. And you go, oh, I didn't finish this yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of my book. So it's a chapter a day right now until it isn't the middle anymore. You know what I mean? Just like the doldrums of writing the middle.
See, I'm gearing up for the middle of my book right now. I just finished Act 1 and Act 2 is coming and I got some plans for it. I'm throwing in, like a big drop just happened at the end of Act 1 and I'm throwing in some interesting things in like the second part of the book. And so like I'm really excited to like I want to write it because I know what I want to happen, but it hasn't played out fully yet on the page. So I'm like, this is going to be cool to see how it goes.
My second act drama usually comes in the revision.
Really?
I'm usually surviving until the end. Okay. Like to the the act 3, like I'm usually surviving until like reveal and climax. And then when I go back through, I'm like, oh, this could lead to that, and I can throw this in here, and blah blah, or action scenes I didn't feel like writing.
Mm-hmm.
Or a lot of times, I have, like with the book I just wrote, I incorporated a lot of disciplines in it that I know nothing about. So I had to do some research into Western dressage, and I did a little bit into polo, like a few different things that were included in the book. I had to like go look at rules, some certification stuff. I had to sit and look at the rules to make sure I got it right. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So you have to just kind of fuzz that over in the first draft because if you stop, you're dead.
Oh yeah, just get it on the page. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited because like I guess my way of doing things is I will like write out a skeleton, like kind of idea like of where like the big things I want to happen, just the big things, right? Like and then maybe like I don't know, 4 or 5 big things that I want to happen. And then I kind of go back and I start writing. So I always said like, well, this is leading to this. And so like when I'm writing it, it kind of already is leading in that direction.
Yeah.
And so but I'm putting some breadcrumbs into this book for the spin-off books.
Right.
So, and that's coming really well. And so I'm going back and I'm checking things, but yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this one. So I'm excited. I have no idea what's going to happen in the third book.
Is there writing in this book?
There is writing, but it's over winter. So the writing is not really the main goal of it.
But are you going to put in like tragic winter riding things like the arena is frozen or the horses need cooking spray sprayed in their feet before we can ride them or things like that? You totally should.
Well, I'm right now, the scene I was just writing was she was trying to muck out the paddocks, but the manure is frozen onto the ground. So she's like digging at it with a shovel. So that was part of it.
Perfect.
I thought so. There will be, I'll give you a spoiler. There will be a scene where they have to do a search and rescue as a snowstorm is descending on the area.
That's scary.
So, yeah, so that's going to there's going to be something with that. So, there could be some, but very realistic wintry things. Like,
is there a type of writing adventure you would like to do so that you can write about it more effectively?
Ooh, I love this question. I mean, I live out my fantasies when I write. So like, I'm not going to go on a Gallop and Go adventure across, Scotland, let's say, but I might write about it. It's a lot better when there's no risk of death and dismemberment.
I can imagine the inherent terror of it all. The feelings of this was a very bad idea. I just paid $5,000 for.
I mean, my overthinking brain creates that already, so it's just like, why not use that as fodder for the books?
No, I want to do the things.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, nothing comes to mind just yet, but I think so. One of the things that one of the books is going to focus on is like search and rescue on horseback in the mountains.
Yeah.
So
you should do that.
Well, I don't know if I'm really appropriate.
You could shadow somebody on a training mission.
Yeah, well, that might be interesting. Like, I'm gonna want to maybe find somebody who does that and kind of pick their brain a little. And
no, you should go with them. It's always more fun to just go.
We'll see.
People will take writers anywhere. Seriously, if you show up and you're like, I'm writing a book about this, and they'll be like, oh my god, you're writing a book. I might be in your book. Let's go. Like, they'll let you do
I have a question.
anything.
Would this person be like a 6'4" lumberjack type man with a big dog and a nice Mustang?
No, you have to imagine it's not going to be like that. Remember, we're writing fantasy.
Damn it. Oh, that's right. I did mention him. He is a character. Oh,
yeah. Okay. No. It's probably going to be a woman, number one.
Yeah.
And if it's a man, he's not going to be your fantasy.
He's going to look like Santa with like a beer belly and like a trucker cap.
Mm-hmm. Yep. These things. Yeah. And a lot of like orange because we like don't want to get hunted none. And
he's going to definitely like spit tobacco.
Oh yeah. But maybe he'll offer you some because chivalry, not dead in the mountains, Teach
me how to shoot a rifle.
He might call you a fine filly. Like that guy did locally to me, so that's a thing.
He might even have teeth.
Some. A few. You might be able to find one with dollars. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, but then that would be something, because I've always been interested. I actually read a book once, and there was a whole bunch of search and rescue in that. I just thought it was really interesting how they train the dogs for search and rescue.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously I'm a big fan of dogs. So anyway, I thought it'd be really cool since they live in the mountains and weird things happen, avalanches, and people get lost. The Appalachian Trail's right there. I said, wouldn't it be cool if one of my characters, who is kind of like a really stoic, tomboyish, independent sort of woman, ends up having to rescue a search and rescuer? Like, because he ends up in a situation. And so
rescuing the rescuer is a trope.
Is
Yeah,
it really?
has a very totally. It has a very Rocky Mountain feel, which I like to see that stuff happen in other places. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. There'll be some twists and turns in it, but I think she's my prickly character, so I thought it'd be kind of funny if she wasn't the damsel and he was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the female protector. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I never write that. I write women who don't they don't want to be rescued, but they don't particularly care about other people enough to rescue them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There might be exceptions to that, but I think that's generally the rule. They're very much focused on their own thing, and if the guy wants to come, great. And that's clearly a very personal choice. I have a lot to do. If you're coming, come.
Just don't get in my way.
Yeah. You are welcome to join. It would be better with two, but these are the things on my list, and I got to get through it.
It sounds like you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah, so I'm really not that creative. I just I just have a personality that I'm very fond of, and I keep writing it.
Well, listen, it's obviously working because you got a fan base. People know what to expect and they love it. Yes, exactly.
So nice. People read my stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. No, it is really cool.
I actually, so somebody has invited me to do the thing, and I wasn't able to do the thing this past fall, but someday I'm going to do it, and it is to.
Are you talking about the thing in Virginia?
Yeah, to spend some time hunting, fox hunting.
Yeah.
And now I even have the perfect book for it, which it would be a spinoff of The Hollywood Horse. Because people really like the characters in that book, and they were like, feels like these characters should have their own book. And I said, I feel that way too. And I didn't really feel, clearly they had their own book, but one outside of that series. And I didn't really feel like any of the other characters in that series were screaming at me for their own thing, but these were. So it's interesting that readers picked up on that too. But I want to set it in Virginia, and I feel like a really traditional sort of society fox hunting sort of arc would be really good for it. I got to do it.
You've got to do it.
Make it up.
And we've talked about this before. I have a local, so the Monmouth County Hunt is actually been around for over 200 years in my area. It's very popular.
Yeah.
And a couple of my girlfriends, you know them, Connie and Allison, Connie joined the board. And so I think she did. I don't know. They're doing something with the hunt. So anyway, I'm sponsoring it. And I keep meaning I'm going to their big gala. So they're having this big annual event. So I get to see behind the scenes. But
I need to do that too. I should just go with you.
You should come with me March 22nd. And
I have something in Ocala.
Damn you, you're too popular.
With Susan.
That's right. That's probably why I couldn't go.
Yeah, it's the All for Horses Expo.
Yeah.
World Equestrian Center, March 22nd through 24th.
Yeah. There you go. And so, but I've been meaning, I really want to go out and, follow in my car and see what it's about. And then I'd really like to photograph it and then eventually work up my way to potentially riding in it if I could find a horse that's dead quiet.
Yeah.
I would love to do third field. I don't want to do first field. But I could do it.
We should do it.
You could do it.
Horses, wouldn't they? They love us. We're so cute.
They have been trying to get me to do it for a while, so I think I could do it. I think I have, if we could. But I'm willing to consider it. But I definitely a big chicken, as we know.
Maybe it's best to be a big chicken to start hunting, to stay in the back because it can get pretty dramatic up in the front. Maybe
yes,
just kind of back off a little bit and make sure it's for you before you get thrown to the hounds.
Well, I'm not a big jumper either, the cross-country jumping, field jumping. So I feel, we'll see.
I'd rather jump a cross-country jump than an arena jump.
I wouldn't because I just don't know what the footing's like. And I guess I rode so much in Mongolia that I always expect there to be holes in the ground underneath me. Mm-hmm. And I don't want a rotational fall or a hoof to get stuck because I've seen it happen so many times.
That's very unlikely.
Every time I gallop a field, I always think, oh shit, I hope we don't go down. Even if we're going straight and everything's going well, it's in the back of my mind thinking, if he takes the wrong step, I'm done. So,
I think that's always true.
I'm a glass half empty kind of girl when it comes to that kind of stuff, which is very unlike me. So,
I'm like, oh, I dropped the glass. Fuck it.
Well, there would definitely, I'll be honest, there would be more than coffee in my mug. And
Oh,
that,
yeah.
there would definitely be some whiskey straight up. But one day I do, all the things that scare me are things that I want to do eventually. I just have a real slow way of getting there.
Yeah. Well, you get there.
Yeah, eventually I get there.
We'll figure it out. We got other stuff to do in the meantime.
That's right. It's not like I'm not busy. Yeah, riding on the beach is going to be great. I'll bring my GoPro. So there'll be a lot of videos of your ass.
Oh my God, everybody's so lucky.
You love your ass. It's so
I love
cute.
my ass. Everyone loves my ass.
Everybody loves your ass.
I don't know what I know what I'll wear. It'll be fine. It's not a bathing suit.
It's gonna be good. Yeah, nobody wants to wear a bathing suit while riding because imagine it rides up.
No.
Oh.
No, I'd probably wear, you know what I live in? It's probably what I'll wear every single day anyways, like these 3/4 length, like jogging shorts, like halfway down my shin. That's what I live in anyway.
Like the little cropped leggings.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can always, if you go in the water, you can always just drag them up over your knee if you really need to. But they dry quick.
I did it, I've done it the springs. Sometimes I'll go to the spring with, like when I'm just out. I'm like, I'm going to go to the spring. Get in the freezing cold water. Just sort of drag my pant legs up.
We're going to be so pale. We're going to be so pale, Natalie.
Hey, pale is longevity as far as I'm concerned. I do not expose my skin anymore. My skin does not go out.
Well, it's going to be funny because when we're on the cruise, like I'm definitely going to be out in the sun napping by the pool, and you're probably going to be in the room writing.
Yeah, because I'm going to revise the makeover horse on this cruise.
No, I definitely plan to bring my computer. Yeah. I'll be writing as well.
I absolutely want it done. No, I was like, if I finish this first draft in 2 weeks, I can revise on the cruise. Boom, done.
Well, and the nice thing is, then it's also a taxable deduction, so it's a working vacation.
Oh,
right?
It's a working vacation.
Yeah, we get to
be working it.
That's right, working it, and I'll save my energy for evenings.
Yeah, well, I even wear a cover up at the pool. Like
Oh, me too.
I'm like, no sun bad.
Well, it's more for me that I don't want people to see all of my curves.
I really don't mind in that setting. It's more like construction sites and the things like that
where you wouldn't wear a bathing suit at a construction site.
Well, that was like when I lived in New York. I started covering up completely like baggy clothes because men on the street were so gross.
Yeah,
but yeah, on pool deck and it's kind of there's a lot of
everybody's there
with large boobs. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, and nobody's really caring and judging because they're all worried about how they look themselves. So exactly. I'm not going to worry about it too much. But the thing that's tripping me up is the fact that like there's like a fancy night. Like,
I know.
I'm not into it. I'll bring a dress.
I don't know if any of my dresses actually fit. I have a lot of dresses because that used to be all I wore, but
we'll see.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still considering bringing my unicorn onesie. So
there is always that.
There is always that.
I should go to TJ Maxx and see if there's anything insane that I could wear.
Yeah,
like unicorns would be good.
Awesome.
I mean, it's wet out. I'm not doing anything.
Except talking to me. What am I, chop liver?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to talk to you probably for the whole afternoon. We could talk for a couple hours. And that's fine. I pity our listeners, but
I know. They're probably like, what are they talking about today? Literally, today is no theme. It's a catch-up episode.
It's a catch-up episode. Yeah, like I have no news to share. Like I might go to a show in 2 weeks, but I might not. I don't know. It's on a Wednesday. How random is Ocala?
But I guess when in the horse world, you're like every day is horses. So what's the difference between a Wednesday or a Friday?
It's so busy. The weekends are all recognized stuff. So there's a schooling horse trials on a Wednesday. Like, okay. I can go do a couple tests.
That'd be fun though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's time. I haven't done one since August. So I did that intro one. So I can canter now. So I might as well do a training level test.
Yeah.
And if I don't embarrass myself, then I'll do a first level test.
But again, it's the same thing with the bathing suit. No one's watching you as closely as you're watching yourself. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
No. I was talking about that with my friend on the way back from our lesson. It was like, you know how you freeze up when you're riding in front of a judge?
Yes.
You're like, right? You're like, I got to be perfect. I got to be perfect for the judge.
And then you overthink it and you tense up and then you fuck up.
Yeah. Well, the really funny thing about dressage is that we kind of forget that the horse is what's being judged, not our riding. Like,
it's how the horse is moving.
Yeah. So if you stiff it up because you're like, I have to look perfect for the judge. No, the judge isn't supposed to be looking at you, friend, unless it's to see how effectively you're riding. And if you're tense and not moving because you want to look like a perfect statue woman, then you're not effectively riding. So you just the whole concept just went out the window. And I don't know why it isn't talked about more.
I actually didn't realize
move your leg,
that.
move your hand. Look at the test. The movements that are being judged are the horse.
Yeah.
The freedom of the gait, the steadiness, immobility at the halt, things like that. All of those descriptions of the movement, it doesn't say rider's hands are, moving precisely. That's just how you get those movements is correct riding. But if you freeze up because you want to look like the perfect statue of equitation, then you don't get any of that because now your hands aren't moving and your seat isn't moving and your leg isn't effective.
So that makes me like dressage even more, actually, because I personally, as a rider, prefer to put my focus on how the horse is moving.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best things my trainer ever said was like, sometimes you can't be pretty to be effective.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
exactly
so, so I did purchase Ride IQ. I plan to start it this week, tomorrow, actually, because the snow should have melted on the sand by then. And then, but I want to be focusing a little bit more on the dressage stuff because I have a couple of the mini tests I keep in my pocket, but I think it's hard for me to remember because I'm thinking about the next thing. So I want to have it in my ear.
Yeah.
So I can just not focus and it'd be like a lesson because I've been doing really well in my lessons lately and I'm really happy. But I have a funny story to tell you.
Okay. Let's go.
So I guess I maybe I will shift this into the adulting wins. So my daughter joined my riding lesson with my friend Jill last week.
Okay.
So my 13-year-old joined our lesson and rode with us at our level. Okay.
Well, yeah,
which
was
a
13.
Win.
Yeah,
she's 13, and
so she dumped it down for you. Right.
My 13.
She's like, I guess I'll ride with the adults. Dorks.
So she was looking forward to it because she really likes my friend, but she started talking smack about me. So I don't know. I guess it's not an adulting win; it's a teen win, because she's right. She's riding around, and we're taking turns cantering because there's like 5 of us in the arena at this time, and 3 of us are in the lesson. So we're like, we'll just take turns cantering. That way the horses don't chase each other, et cetera, et cetera. And I'd been working for like 45 minutes. My pony was feeling really cute. And so like I was a little out of breath. And my daughter, I found out, was sitting in the center of that arena talking to my friend going like, wow, my mom's really out of shape. And I went around 4 times the canter. My mom broke after 2 turns around the arena. And she's like talking absolute fucking smack. And the funny thing was, I was riding for 20 minutes before she even got on her horse. So fuck that bitch, okay? But I thought, like, in a weird way, I was actually really kind of proud because she rode circles around the 2 of us. She's 13, so like she's got the energy of like an Energizer bunny. But I was like, this girl used to be such a timid rider. She now gets on these green ponies. She schools them. She's going to be showing them in the spring. She's improved so much that she's now riding with the adults and holding her own so well. Like, look at how far she's grown in confidence. So I thought that was a pretty big deal.
That's a mom win. Look at you.
It was a mom win. I feel like even though it was at my expense, she really did well.
You should get used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the good things that are coming down the pike are going to be like, I'll just retreat into this wall then and let you go ahead. Have the limelight. I will vanish.
Oh, yeah, no, the twins are definitely in the stage where like, Mom, like I'm suddenly an embarrassment sometimes, but their friends still love me. So I'm still invited to like participate, but it's I can see the ticking time clock for now. So I thought that was really cool.
That's super cool.
And now it's giving me incentive to actually, like, I don't know, get my cardio under control so I can go 3 or 4 times around in the canter.
Yeah, I'm looking at, yeah, I gotta go to the gym.
Yeah.
I simply I can't motivate myself at home by myself. No. There's
I can't
gym.
even
The gym has
motivate myself to
classes.
get to the gym.
Well, it's so close to me and I really need to pull it together. Like I'm at a point where I need to be fitter to ride, like to to progress. And I'm just not. I'm just not fitter and I'm not
Yeah.
getting fitter. I just
You hit that
I can't
plateau.
maintain it. Yeah, I just can't maintain it. So I was joking, like, oh, I need a second horse to get fit, but I really just need to drive my ass to the gym that's literally 6 minutes away and take a class,
I
and
love
leave
the
my house.
classes.
Yeah.
I do well in
So
classes because then I can't, like, get lazy because someone's like, hey, you in the back, move your ass. And I'm like,
right.
oh, shit, she's talking to me,
Exactly. That's what I have to
If
do.
it's on my own, I'll do it for 10 minutes and be like, oh, that was a good workout, and I'll leave.
You ever read a novel about like society women and that's what they do. They like take fitness classes all the time. Like, and they can't have any real willpower as humans. So I'm pretty sure I ought to be able to do 1 or 2 a week.
Classes are fun. I think those are, I mean, and they're a good way because they mix it up and you're using different muscles and body parts. So you're
Mhm.
strengthening areas that are not always being used when we ride,
Yeah.
and so it's good. But how about you? What's your adulting win of the week?
Oh, I don't remember.
Every time.
Well, I think about it beforehand, and I could tell you where I was, and I was thinking about it. I was outside this morning, and I was putting water into a bucket, and I thought, "Here's my adulting win." But then we talked for an hour, and
well, and we've been jumping around a little bit too, which is as I'm wanting to do.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so here's the silly adulting win. Well, it's a fun adulting win for me, and other people will go like, "Oh, Natalie went down that road." But I joined like a manifestation sort of subscription, and I joined the call last week, like a Zoom call where we kind of just like do meditation and work through our manifestation things. And it was after that I was so energized that I did like 18 things and signed up for different book events and got other people involved and joined up with Susan and some other authors to do the expo and got myself invited to the new Barnes and Noble in Gainesville for a book signing, just like made a ton of stuff happen. So like positive energy, I think is
Awesome.
my win. I've been working really hard on it. I got approved for a Kindle deal in the UK for next month, which has never happened before. So really good positive energy vibes. That's my
That's
adulting
awesome.
win. Yeah, and sometimes it's hard for me. I'm a very skeptical person. I'm a very much a realist, and so sometimes it's hard for me to let go of that skepticism and just lean into my natural Pisces woo, but it's there.
You just got to draw it out to the surface and like
I have to
massage
give
that a little bit.
permission, I have to give myself permission to say, yeah, this might look a bit silly to some people, but nobody who is engaging with positive energy is complaining about it. They're not like, oh, so much
There's
fucking
nothing wrong with
positive
setting an
energy.
intention and asking, and because when you when you do that, and you're putting that like thought into your brain, you're like somehow things end up moving you in that direction, and so there's energy attracts energy.
The concept of everything has energy can sound silly until I read a line the other day. Yeah, I was reading a book. I'm reading a book about animation because a future book will be set in animation, and so I'm starting to do research for it. And it explained like the first, the first synchronized sound cartoon was Steamboat Willie, and it was explaining how they like made sound into light. In a very straightforward manner. And they're like, oh, do this with the sound, and then it's on the tape, and then it shines through the light, and it comes out. And I'm like, okay, all right. If sound can become light in a very straightforward manner, then I can energetically attract more good energy. You know what I mean? It's just like nothing is too ridiculous. Nothing. If sound can become light, nothing is too ridiculous. That is my.
The whole telephone thing always threw me. Like, how does that landline telephone thing work? Like, what?
How does any of it work? I don't know.
Right, exactly. And I know there's science, but before there was science, there's someone who had the idea that said, you know what, maybe we make this happen. And people thought that was magic. So guess what? Magic is just science that hasn't been explained.
Yes. You're absolutely right.
So that's where I'm sticking. So, but I think that's great. It sounds like you have too many adulting wins to really narrow down. So like the manifestation and the creative visualization, all of that is like the impetus to get to you on the right
energy,
path.
Man. Just vibes.
Just energy.
I'm vibing.
Well, I'll tell you, the best rides I've had are like when I've just been in that zone where I'm like, you know what? Whatever it is, I'm just happy to be in the saddle and I have no expectations, because when I go in with expectations and I get upset because maybe something's not going the way I wanted it to, or I get frustrated, it ends up going more badly. So
you go in there and you say, you ride for 10 minutes, you go, what horse do I have today? All right, I'm going to ride that horse. I had to do that the other day. I got on, it was cold. We haven't been doing a lot lately. I rode for 10 minutes. I was like, I don't know you. And I'm going to ride you differently than I rode you last week. And it worked out.
Oh my God,
I had to stop and I had to go, focus up now. This isn't working.
Say to yourself. Yeah, some days I say some days I have the Welsh, some days I have the thoroughbred. And I guess when I mount up, I can tell exactly which one I've got. And then that's how I ride. Some days I ride with a lot of leg and rein, and some days I ride with none of that at all. And, it depends on what you got. So